1. Backstory. When I was 20 years old, I worked for an auto parts company. I was a cashier ringing customers up on a busy day. I'm usually laid back and very lenient when it comes to returns, due to the customer is always right or some nonsense. A guy walks in with the battery, places a battery on my counter, and selects 1 quart of engine oil. The man comes back to the counter and tells me that he needs to return this battery for warranty, due to it not holding a charge. Immediately I recognize the brand of battery, which is a brand that we do not sell. In fact, our rival company sells it. I had explained this to the customer, but he was not having it. He says he knows he bought it here and was demanding a refund. I tell him again, I'm not gonna refund something that wasn't sold at this store. I then call the rival auto parts store, take down the man's information, and see if it was purchased at one of their locations. The store verified that it was indeed purchased at one of their locations, and that it was still under warranty. I tell the customer this, and still he is not having it. He tells me I need to do my effing job. I reply to him sternly, but still in a professional manner, I am doing my job. I'm actually going above and beyond my job. So I could easily say you didn't have a warranty and just sell you another battery. I have no business calling in my rival company for something like this, so I went out of my way to tend to your needs, and you're still telling me I need to do my job. If you can tell me how that makes sense, I will give you a battery. The customer had no answers and begins to berate me verbally and cussing me out, saying he's gonna come back with a gun and handle business. He also commented on my physique and said that steroids are affecting my brain, and that's the reason why I don't know how to do my job. I was in decent shape as a 20-year-old due to not having a social life. I would spend 8 hours at work, go home and study. I also frequented a gym a lot. I would spend 8 hours at a local gym just lifting weights, boxing, jiu-jitsu, and a couple of other things. I enjoyed every minute of it, and it kept me out of trouble. Going back to the incident, the man then made a comment as I need to smile more often when talking to customers. At this point I was already irritated. I responded with, well, how about I just tap dance for you, and then started tap dancing in front of him. I was about a foot away from him when this happened. The man proceeded to throw the quart of oil in my face, hitting me in the nose. I immediately reacted with a front kick to his chest. The kick pushed him back a bit, so he began to rush me. I dipped my right shoulder forward and brought my elbow to his nose. It was like a modified spinning back elbow. I can feel the man's nose crack in my elbow. The customer fell down and began to cry with blood dripping from his nose. When this happened, magically my line of customers got shorter and I saw a few had switched to another register. I helped the next customer with no issue. Then I thought to myself, I should probably call the cops. I told my store manager about the incident and he called the cops. My store manager was a friend of mine and trained with me at the gym. He pulled up the video and commented how my foot placement needs work. Police arrived and the man began blaming me for assaulting him, but the customers vouched for me, and the footage on the camera matched the customer's statements, so the guy was arrested for aggravated assault. The police officer that stayed behind to get the video evidence kept rewinding the video and laughing. As the customer was leaving in handcuffs, he kept repeating that he was gonna come back for me. The police officer asked my store manager if he wanted the guy trespassed. The manager left it up to me and I said, nah, let him come back. A little bit after I left that job, I joined the military, served for 10 years, and I then became a cop in a small town. My soon-to-be wife was also at the store when the whole thing happened. She later revealed to me that the same guy had tried to get her phone number, and then called her a rude name for Hispanic people for saying no to him, and said if he took her now, the cops wouldn't do anything because she was illegal. 2. Throughout my time in the retail industry, I've noticed a few types of customers. There are those who break the mold and leave an impact on your day. Then there are those who you already know from the moment they walk up what kind of transaction it will be. Here's my butthead deck so far. The tweaker. I think she's on something. This person is far beyond giving the benefit of the doubt. This isn't ADHD. It's abusing stimulants. Strange body odors, twitchy movements, and darty eyes. This person almost acts more like a bug than a person. Don't say too many words, you might make them paranoid or, God forbid, too comfortable. Cue their backstory for their life and daily routine in extreme detail. Please move along. The too masculine for this are your rewards, member sir, followed by, absolutely not. Funnily enough, this type avoids eye contact the most. Similar to an insecure boy, they laser focus onto the Verifone as if the gun is held to their head. They're just too manly to answer a question. Their tacky sports accessories drenched in the smell of cigarette smoke as they rudely rush their wife and kids. Yep, we've got a no-nonsense fella here. Ugh. Let's just hope they don't talk about politics today. The technology left me. Often being a sweet grandparent, you're nice and patient because you'd hate it if someone was rude to your own granny. Make no mistake, this person is a ball of chaos for the checkout lines.
How do you work this thing? Can you just do it for me?
All while not understanding clear and concise instructions. Their glasses almost are never enough for them to read the screen. This person might even have 3 different rewards accounts. They simply don't remember signing up. The Turbo Mom. The millennial or Gen X version of a Karen. When she's not wrestling 5 unruly children while her husband is God knows where, she is barking out orders. Dare to not be the perfect drone, and you may just have a manager called. She'll make it seem way worse and stare into your soul walking out. Seriously, lady? I'm a cashier, not your mortal enemy. The busybody. This person is always doing one of 2 things, either on the phone or talking to someone in the line. They'll try so hard to ignore you, even trying to hand you a receipt and a card with no response to your greetings. You can have a lot of fun with this person if you don't let them make you upset. Easy to trip them up simply by scripting, since they're not paying a lick of attention. What's funny is, they will be nice and charismatic on the phone or to fellow guests, then treat you like garbage. The too comfortable regular will often ask you to go out of your way for them, even breaching into departments you don't work under. This person will not conduct the expected normal behaviors of a checkout. They expect you to know their name and exactly how they operate. They think you should care or learn quick, when in reality you could not care less that they're bad with money and eat out and shop every day. There it is, the people who drain the life out of me. I'm missing some obvious ones for sure, but these are the most egregious to me. Hellfreezer's note, the "can you just check the back for me?" The one who comes into the store, you'll tell them you don't have something in stock, you who work there for several hours a day, several days a week, and know what the stock of this store is. But they will insist, if you just go check, it will magically appear. You can assuage this by simply going into the stockroom, taking a moment to relax, explaining as such to your manager, and then head back out with an oh-so-sincere and apologetic tone. I'm sorry. We just don't have it. 3. This is a story about someone who tried to go from customer to seller. Yep, try to sell something to Macy's without the intention of buying anything. Let's roll that beautiful beaten footage. So, almost a decade ago, I worked as a manager for the jewelry section of Macy's. Nothing too exciting. Just your usual people trying to haggle the price of stuff, trying to buy one earring. Yep. Or claiming our stuff is fake, so they wouldn't buy anything, and you wasted your time to tell me that because? Until this incident, this one probably takes the cake by being by far the strangest sort of scam I've ever encountered. I've been on shift for a few hours, and it's been rather slow. Like usual, I am the only one working that counter because we didn't normally need more than one employee unless it was a holiday or something. In walks a woman, probably late 50s, who makes a beeline for our counter. Here's our conversation. Something's fudged because I don't remember exact wording. The weird lady asks, "Do you do custom fittings?" We can do sizing, but that's about as custom as we get. So you don't do custom bands with stones someone brings in? No, sorry, we can't do that. She just acts like I didn't say anything. I have some diamonds I want set into a ring. Ma'am, I just said we can't do that. Just look at them! Pulls out a napkin and proceeds to dump 3 large and very obviously fake diamonds on my counter. Ma'am, I apologize if you misunderstood. We can't place stones into a setting. I'm a paying customer! Well, no, you're not. Fine, just tell me what you can do for them. As in? Well, what are they worth? Ma'am, I can't price any stones, much less buy them. These are 50-carat diamonds. For one, they're not. 2, I just said we can't appraise or purchase anything. So you're telling me that a jewelry store, we're a department store, obviously, doesn't want obviously very valuable diamonds? I'm just saying that, look, I hate to break it to you, but these are just glass. Regardless, we can't buy anything. I can't believe you're just declining my business. Well, you haven't actually done any business with us, but either way, please take your stones. I'm sorry, I can't help you. At this point, she stormed away. I assumed that was the end of it. It was not. This woman returns with the police. She proceeds to tell them that I obviously stole her 50-carat diamonds and left her with fakes. I could tell they were baffled and annoyed. Told the officers the entire story. They simply sighed and told her to call corporate or something, but couldn't help her. Fast forward the next day, she returns. I was at the end of the counter doing a drawer count. My coworker was handling sales. I heard her and recognized her ranting immediately. We basically rolled through the dance again, including the police call. Thankfully, the second time, we got officers that didn't like their time wasted, and she was escorted out of the store, never to return. I sometimes wonder if she was unwell, but my head manager told me later that she tried the whole sale of fake gemstones thing at least 3 times a year. He couldn't have her hit with trespassing since corporate wouldn't approve it, but they usually got the police to escort her out for her last attempt for the year. She tried once more with obviously costume rubies a few months later, but that location closed shortly after, and I don't think she tried the other mall with the Macy's in our city. I quit before it closed, but not because of her, although she made me question my life choices. After speaking with some other folks who worked at our mall, apparently she was of mostly sane mind, but would go to other stores and try to sell them the fake gemstones. Regardless if the jewelry sold or not, our best guess was that she'd find the glass stones in her house and assume she'd stumbled into a fortune. 4. I'm a team leader at a homeware stop. We have a few lazy colleagues, some young, some elderly. Young, I would say, are doing the typical teen thing, and the elderly are settled into their bad habits. We have a lady working in the cafe that consistently leaves the bins in the goods in zone instead of taking them out, which voids our pest insurance and is an audit fail. After multiple times in the group chat asking why it's been left, I finally spoke to her in person. The prior day, the elderly colleague was putting the rubbish out at 3:30. So, she left the till unattended. As the cafe doesn't close until 4 p.m., she walked past me. The delivery team was still working delivery. The store was full of colleagues with headsets, so I asked her, "Why didn't you take the bins out?"
The door was blocked.
But they were still working delivery.
Working what?
The delivery team were still working delivery. Someone will have been in and out of there every few minutes. Why didn't you ask them to move the stuff for you?
No one was down there.
Okay, so why didn't you ask a colleague with a headset?
There wasn't anyone.
Why didn't you ask the till staff? There's always someone at the till with a headset.
I had a taxi waiting. I don't have time to be waiting around for people.
But this was at 3:30. Her shift doesn't end until 4:30.
I'm not searching the whole store for someone just to come open the door.
Look, just don't let it happen again. Just ask anyone or even put it in the group chat and I will come. Next day, she submits a formal complaint to HR about the way I speak to her. The young colleague. This colleague can do an amazing job. Beautiful recovery, great talking to customers on the phone, top in the store for e-receipts. Now she's at the bottom of everything. Makes 3 orders last 5 hours, doesn't ask for e-receipts. She's damaging the store's score. We know she can, she just doesn't want to. On top of this, she chats all the time. 3 times one night I caught her hiding in the cupboard, out of view to talk to the till colleague, hiding behind the stand to talk to the colleague, and hiding round a corner. I told her to separate each time. Next day, her line manager pulls her into the office to speak to her about this behavior, as all of us team leaders are sick of it. Today I find a review on our Google page about me. I'm abusive to colleagues, condescending, mentioned my colourful hair and the energy drink I carry with me, claims I never lift a finger. I have cried from the amount of jobs I have on my plate multiple times. I don't even take my mandatory breaks, and am unprofessional, and always speak to a male colleague, referring to my male team leader colleague, that my job is directly intertwined with, searching the Google reviews name, and it was this colleague's boyfriend. I've always tried to be nice and accommodating. No break? Sure, you can have a snack. Stressed? Take 5 minutes. Don't like that job? We can swap you with someone else. But the second I do the management side of my job, I get formal complaints. It's extremely hurtful and I'm upset, and I just don't know what to do going forward. They don't change their behavior, and now they're threatening my job. Any advice? Hellfreezer's note. I can fix this for you pretty easy. You've been far too accommodating to them previously. You're letting them get away with whatever they want. And now they view you as a pushover, and when a pushover pushes back, they don't know how to handle that, so they react hostilely. They think if you're doing this, then it's so different from how you usually treat them, so if your behavior's changed, you're the problem. Here's what you do. Manage them. Be their manager. Don't be rude. The people who are working, treat them fairly. The ones who are working, be nice to them, be civil. Don't be overtly rude to the others. But if they're given a job they don't want to do, tough. The job has to get done. Everyone has to take turns. Today's your turn. They want an extra 5 minutes when they've already had their break? Tough. You had your break. You're not getting paid to do nothing. Back to work. And lastly, think if you want to do retail for the rest of your life. Retail's a horrible job. Nobody should have to do it unless they really, really enjoy it. So if you don't, and there's something else you want to do, I'd look toward that. See what you can do to make steps to get there. It'll be worth it in the long run. 5. I work at a gas station, and a bit of context is that every once in a while the company will reduce the price on certain popular items for a limited time. However, more often than not, there is always a limit on how much a person can buy, so other customers get the reduced priced food. Usually, we have an abundance of things that go on sale like bread and bacon, and most of us don't enforce the limit. However, around the holidays last year, the gallons of milk went on sale, and there was a limit of 4 per person. Our store is small, and we don't have that much milk backstock that we can keep in the cooler and display, so this time around everyone made sure to, if it ever came up, enforce the limit. Because milk is really popular already. Usually people who were buying the gallons of milk never buy more than 4 until this guy came in. He was by himself, and it was almost time for me to clock out. I had like an hour left of my shift. I don't watch or pay much mind to the customers who come in until they are ready to check out, so I didn't realize that he was holding 6 gallons of milk when he came up. At first I was impressed by how he managed to carry all 6 gallons up to the front, before I realized I had to enforce the limit. Hi, I'm sorry, but the limit for the gallons of milk right now is at 4.
What? Why?
It's because they're on sale right now, and since they're on sale for a limited time, there's a limit so everyone can get some.
Every time I've come in, I've had no problems with getting 6. I'm leaving with 6.
At this point, I'm getting stressed, and I try showing him the signs around the store saying limit of 4, and that if he has somebody else come in for the other 2 gallons, it would be allowed, etc. But he's at this point raising his voice and getting very aggressive. Finally, he shouts at me for a manager, and I call the lead who's working that night. And to my disappointment and horror, they let him get away with buying all 6. I can get it, he wanted them gone, but I felt so stupid and the guy let me know how stupid I was. unsatisfying ending, but that lead doesn't work at the gas station anymore, and I've never seen 6-gallon milk guy again. Thankfully, he took his business elsewhere. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Adventures in Fast Food and Retail, episode 207. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Before you go, hit the like button. If you'd like to get early access to these and all the videos, get them on the Monday all at once. You support me on my Patreon page, which is linked in the description, for as little as $1 or more a month. You'll also find links there to the merchandise store on Teespring, in addition to a link to the Hellfreezer Discord. If you really liked today's video, you can leave a tip for that by clicking on the heart with the $sign. I really appreciate it when you do that, but you don't have to. But it does help. Okay, no other bits and bobs today, so let's move right along to Hellfreezer's question of the day. And today's question is... today's question comes from Newcomb via the Discord. What is something that you remembered that you can't believe you forgot? This happens to me a lot with dead celebrities. A lot of the time I'll be looking at something and I'll be like, oh wait, they died? And we actually have an obituary section, I call it Necropolis on the Discord, and half the time I'm the one that posted it there. I'm like, they died, I really like them, how could they die? So I often have a habit of forgetting that people have died. Famous people, not so much with people I actually know. So, why don't you leave your answer in a comment below? And before we go, let's have the answer of the day from a previous video. And this one was quite simple, it was just, tell me something good that happened. And today's answer comes from Annie Northman. Something good that happened to me today. The cat distribution system has chosen me, and now I have a couple of stray cats I'll look out for. Thank you very much for your answer, Annie Northman. And with that, I'm gonna head off for now. It's caffeine time. I've been a good boy and resisted, but now it's caffeine time. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.